lower body strength and stretching with the Minto-Mapleton Family Health Team. I hope you're eager and excited to exercise with us today. So a couple things you'll need to join today's class. A water bottle, you can keep it handy just to quench your thirst. You need a chair, running shoes. If you're using a band for the quad stretch at the end, you can have that handy, and then of course just your inner smile throughout the whole exercise. So if you want to just go and gather those things if you don't have them handy right now, and we can start shortly with the warm-up. Before we get started, there's just a couple key things I'd like to make note of. So when you're doing this exercise program at home, you want to aim to try to complete 2 to 3 sets 2 times a week, and on non-consecutive days. So if we do the workout today, you want to take a rest day tomorrow, and then maybe do it the next day. We're going to start today with 1 set of 10. If that's enough for you, you can skip the second set of 10 that we're going to do and go right to the stretches at the end of this video. Or you can join me and do the second set of 10 once we're done that first set of 10. At home, if you're feeling eager and you want to do a third set of 10, you can add that third set of 10 as well. For some of the exercises, you can add some weight to make the exercise a little bit more challenging. So if you have an ankle weight at home, you can place it around your ankle, or if you have 2 of them, then you don't have to switch the ankle weight from one leg to the other leg, and you can actually keep it on for the whole time if you'd like, or you can just use it for a few of the exercises that I'll mention as we get to the exercises. Form is very, very important when you are exercising, so it's actually more important than the reps. So we're just using 10 as a guideline, but if you can only do 8 with really, really good form, that's better than doing 10 with bad form. So proper form, making sure that you have very good posture, you're standing nice and tall, your core is engaged, your shoulders are relaxed, your feet are shoulder width apart, and a light bend in those knees to help ease off a little bit of loading when we're doing some single leg stance stuff for some of the exercises. It's important to continue to breathe when you're doing the exercises. So during the lifting phase of an exercise, you want to exhale, so breathe out, and then when we're returning back to that starting position, you want to breathe in. If it's difficult for you to kind of grasp on when you're supposed to breathe out or breathe in, just make sure you're really using your breath to take that deep breath out and deep breath in throughout the exercise, and that you're not holding your breath. That's the key thing. Have a chair handy for a little bit of support for when we're doing things on a single leg, just for something for balance and to also just assist you in doing some of the exercises. And last thing, it's very important to do all these exercises very slow and controlled so that we can really engage the muscles we're trying to focus on strengthening, and we're not using momentum to fly through some of the exercises. So those are a few key points to just keep in mind throughout the program today. I will remind you throughout the exercises for some of those as well, so just listen to the cues and follow my lead. So with all that being said, we'll start with a little bit of a warm-up. So you want to do a warm-up when you're at home as well. So we'll just start with a light marching on the spot, making sure you're coming down nice and gentle on those toes on your feet. You don't want to be slamming the ground and making lots of noise when we're doing this marching on the spot. Just including some arm swings, get your whole upper body, lower body, your whole body ready to do a little bit of a workout together, that blood flowing and that heart rate going. And smiling. Alrighty, from this march, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our heels forward and lightly tap the floor with one heel, nice and gentle on that touch. You can either swing one arm at a time, or you can swing both arms at a time. Staying nice and tall, keeping everything engaged. And remember to breathe and not hold your breath when you're doing this warm-up even. It's very important. Really start to feel that body warm up. Okay, if you get a little bit of a sweat on, that's a good thing. Okay, we're gonna go back to that marching on the spot. Then from here, we're gonna do the opposite. So we're gonna bring those toes back and your arms come forward. Just a gentle touch on the toe, making sure both of your toes stay facing forward. Still staying tall in your upper body, still breathing. Using our legs a lot today, so it's good if they're nice and warmed up. Looking good, everyone. Okay, we're gonna go back to that march on the spot. Again, staying nice and tall. This time we're gonna tap to the side. So we'll toe it to the side, and then the other side. Your hands, you can do whatever you'd like, kind of freestyle. If you wanna do both hands, if you're coordinated and can do the opposite, go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna try. Again, staying nice and gentle on that touch. After about 30 more seconds of this, we're going to throw it all together. Still breathing. Okay, coming back to that march on the spot again. Now we're going to add it all together, but on one side at a time. So you'll toe, heel out front, toe to the side, toe behind, back to center. Heel, toe, toe, center. Good job. If you need to, you can hang on to the chair for a little bit of support throughout this as well. Nice and gentle when you're touching. Awesome job, and we'll go one more round. Good. Go back to the march and same thing but on the other side. So heel, toe, backwards, center, heel, toe, backwards, center. Find your rhythm and just go with it. Couple more rounds. Awesome job. Awesome work. And we'll just come to that march on the spot again. Last one, we're just gonna bring our knees nice and high to finish up. Getting our hips nice and loosened up a little bit. And then we'll get started. Alrighty, and give your legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, so a lot of the exercises we're doing, we'll be doing one leg at a time. We'll do 10 reps on one leg. Then we'll do the same exercise on the opposite leg right after that to give that other leg a little bit of a break. And then we'll go into the next exercise. So the first one that we'll be doing is a lunge. So you're going to start with your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to step forward with one foot. I want to make sure you can see my toes. Both feet are facing forward, so I don't want your toes in a weird position. Both of them should be facing forward the whole time. Your core is nice and engaged. Your shoulders are relaxed. And then from here, you're going to lower yourself towards the floor. You're going to do that by lowering yourself in the back knee instead of letting that front knee go over the toes, making sure that alignment is really, really key here, and keeping that back heel up off the floor so that your heel's not on the floor, we're keeping it up. From here, you're going to lower yourself slowly towards the floor, making sure that front knee doesn't go in or out. Then press up, stand nice and tall. And we're going to do 9 more of these. Slowly lowering yourself to the ground, so exhaling as you lower yourself to the ground. Slowly press up, standing nice and tall. You can hang onto the chair for support, or you can just lower yourself down and press up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me from the side. So that's the same stance, feet shoulder width apart, both toes facing forward. Lowering yourself down towards the floor, that front knee isn't going over the toe. Pressing up. Great job, everything's looking nice and strong. We're not bending forward. Still breathing, not holding that breath. And we have 2 more to go. Got a sweat on already. This is good. And last one. Awesome. We'll go back to that starting position, and we're going to do the same thing, but the opposite foot. So reaching forward with that other foot, making sure you've got that wide stance, that back heel's up off the floor, toes are facing in the same direction. Slowly lowering yourself to the floor, watching that front knee, pressing up nice and tall, and that's 1 rep. 2, I'm going to turn to the side again. Staying nice and tall in that upper body. 3, still breathing. Just try to stay facing forward. If you'd like to, you can add weight to this to make it harder. We have 2 more to go. Awesome job. And we'll come back to center. And I'm sweating. Good job, everyone. Okay, the next one that we're going to do is working the front of the leg. So you're actually going to grab your chair, and you're going to sit back all the way into your chair. And we're going to work 1 leg at a time again. So making sure you're sitting all the way back. You're going to pick 1 leg to start with. You're going to slowly lift it up, engaging that quad muscle, letting your toes stay nice and relaxed. Pausing and slowly returning back to starting. Again, you're going to exhale as you come up. And inhale on your way down. Staying nice and strong and tall in your upper body. Make sure you don't let that thigh off the chair. So the only thing working is that quad muscle. Keeping your toe your foot nice and relaxed, not pointing towards you or away from you. In a nice neutral position. Wipe that sweat off if you need to. I believe we have 3 more left to go. Nice and slow. You really want to work that muscle. And the last one here together. Awesome. We're going to switch and do the opposite leg, so still staying in that same position. Nice and tall in the upper body. Relax the back against your chair. And we're going to work that other leg. So same thing, raising your leg up. Pausing when you get to the top, feeling that muscle really engaged. Slowly lower yourself back towards the floor, and then repeating that. So you can make this one harder at home by adding that ankle weight to your ankle so that there is more weight for you to lift up. You really want to focus on that muscle that's lifting the leg. So if you place your hand on top of your quad muscle, you should really feel it engage underneath. Making sure this movement, you're not just rushing through it, but you're doing it nice and slow and controlled, almost feeling it shake underneath your hand, and slowly letting it shake as you bring your leg back down. Halfway there. Exhale again as you bring your foot up, and inhale on your way down. When you're at home, you go go at your own pace. If I'm going too quick for you, or if you can't quite do the 10, then you just do whatever you feel comfortable doing at home. And jump in whenever you feel comfortable again. And one more here to go. Awesome job. Squeezing that muscle and slowly bringing it down. Good work. So we're going to raise from the seated position. I'll explain later how to do it properly, but scoot to the edge of the chair, press up, and we're going to walk back behind your chair. The next exercise we're going to be working on is the back of the calf muscle. So we're going to be doing calf raises. Again, you can have those ankle weights on your ankles to make this a little bit more challenging, or you could do one foot at a time, or both of them at the same time. So I will show you both ways to do it, and then you just kind of pick which one you want to do. So standing nice and tall, core engaged, a light touch on the chair. We're not leaning onto that chair. You're going to press up onto your toes, making sure your weight is evenly distributed between all your toes. Pause up here, and then slowly bring yourself all the way back down. So that's if you're doing both feet at the same time. If you're doing one foot at a time, you'd rest the other one just gently above your ankle. Again, pressing up on all those toes, making sure you're not just on your baby toe or your big toe, but on all of them, and slowly bring yourself down. Again, not a lot of weight on the chair. The chair's just there for a little bit of support. You're keeping your core nice and strong and engaged, looking straight ahead so that your neck's in a neutral position. You should really feel the burn at the back of the calf muscle. If you tried single leg and it's getting to be too much, you can go back to doing both legs at the same time and then trying a little bit on the other side. Still with me, good job. We have 3 more left to go. Still doing it slow and controlled, even though we want to be done at 10 reps. We want to make sure that 8th rep is just like the first one, nice and slow and controlled. Awesome job. If you did both legs, just give your legs a little bit of shake. I'm going to go ahead and do the other foot. Or you can do 10 more after you have a little bit of a break, whichever you'd like to do. So pressing up, pausing when you get to the top, exhaling as you came up, inhaling slowly on your way down. Staying nice and tall. The only thing moving is the weight shifting from your heel to all of your toes. Nice work. Couple more left to go together. And last one. Awesome job. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Grab a drink of water if you need. The next one that we're going to be working is the side of leg, and that standing leg will get a lot of the work as well. So standing with your feet shoulder width apart, that light touch on the chair so we're not leaning onto the chair. Your outside leg will be your working leg. You're going to slowly lift your leg out to the side, leading with your heel so both toes are staying facing forward. A light bend in that standing leg, then slowly return to center. So before you even lift your leg, you want to make sure your core is engaged, everything's nice and relaxed. And just a little movement to the leg out to the side, and returning back to center. You'll notice I'm not leaning over my chair as I'm doing the exercise. The only thing moving is my leg out to the side, not pointing your toe, but keeping it facing straight like your other foot the whole time. Good job. You can have your hands on your hip if you'd like, to make sure your hip's not hiking up as you are lifting, or you're not dropping your hip, and everything staying nice and strong. Your standing leg might get tired, so in between each rep, you can put even weight between each rep. You want to exhale as you lift out. onto the floor. Again, exhale. And inhale as you come down. We'll just do 2 more reps together here. And last one, keeping everything nice and strong, slow and controlled, driving with that heel and returning to center. Awesome job. I'm going to switch the chair to the other side. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. And we're going to do the same exercise, but working that other leg. So again, starting nice and close to the chair, light touch on the chair, not leaning onto it. Working that outer leg, driving with the heel, staying nice and tall, not bent over, and returning back to center. You're going to exhale as you press out. Inhale as you bring the foot back to center. Looking good. It's not how high we can bring the leg, but how slow and controlled and really engaging the outer thigh muscles. And that standing leg will also get some work as well. Again, you can have that hand on your hip if you'd like to make sure your hips are staying nice and level. Looking good. You can have a bend in that stationary knee if you need to. If it's getting a lot of loading from you lifting your foot up, that light bend will take off a little bit of that pressure, or putting that even weight between each rep to give that standing leg a little bit of a break. And one more rep together. Make it a good one. Work, 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 and relax. Awesome job. Okay, the next one is a knee lift. So you're going to stand facing towards your chair or countertop or whatever you're hanging on for a little bit of support. We're going to be working the front of the leg. We want to make sure you're not standing close to your chair because you will be needing to lift your leg up in front of you, so just a fingertip touch. You're going to slowly lift one foot up, making sure when you kind of lift your foot up, you're not just leaning far to one side, then slowly bringing it back down. Again, keeping your core engaged, everything nice and tall. And slowly returning back to center. Exhaling as you bring your foot up. Inhaling as you come back down. You want to make sure when you're lifting that leg that you're not leaning back and using momentum, your core staying strong. You're lifting from the hip and kind of leading with your knee and slowly returning back to center. Again, you can have a light bend in that standing leg for a little bit of support. It's okay if you hear it clicking in your knee, that's normal. We have one more here, and we're going to switch and go to the other side. Awesome job. Give that standing leg a little bit of a shake. So same thing, but on that other leg, standing nice and tall before you start, your core is engaged, fingertip touch, and driving with your knee up, not leaning back as you lift it up, and slowly returning it back to center. Up, keeping your foot in neutral position, not pointing your toe towards the floor, and back down. If you need to make this a little bit more of a challenge, you can add that ankle weight, or you could just hover your foot back on the floor, not let it touch the floor in between each rep. Pausing when you get to the top, and hover, or coming back all the way down to the floor, whichever preference you like. Pick it and then stick with it, or you can change between one to the other in between. And last two. Awesome job. I'm just going to grab a sip of water, so go ahead and grab a sip if you need to. Alrighty. So we're going to stand similar position that we were just standing in. So back facing the chair. Now we're going to be working the back of your leg. So we're going to be doing a hamstring curl. To do this one, you want to start relatively close to your chair, making sure that your feet again are hip width apart. And we are going to be driving back with your heel towards your bum, but not letting that knee come forward. So standing nice and tall, core engaged, light fingertip on the chair. We're not leaning forward over the chair. Leading with the heel of your foot, coming as far as you can without bringing that knee forward, and then pausing, really working that back muscle, and slowly returning back to center. I don't want you leaning on this leg that you're standing on, so I'll show you from the front. Just pivoting from that knee, everything else is staying straight and square, not moving, and slowly coming back to center. And again, exhaling as you bring your foot up, pausing, squeezing that muscle, and inhaling on your way down. Really feel it kind of shake in the back of your hamstring. Again, making this one harder by adding that ankle weight, or imagining there's something heavy on your ankle that you have to curl. Our upper body has not moved, your core is still engaged, you are not leaning over your chair. All the key things you want to keep in mind from one exercise to the next. And the last one. And slowly come back to center. Give that standing leg a little bit of a shake, and we're going to do the same thing, but on that other leg. So get yourself in starting position before you even curl that leg up. Core strong, shoulders back and relaxed. Standing nice and tall, feet are hip width apart. And then you're going to drive back with that heel, bringing it towards your bum. Not pointing the toes out, but just keeping it in neutral position. And slowly bring it back to starting position. Again, you're not letting that knee go forward as you're curling. You're just curling with the hamstring muscle, kind of going back and then driving that heel towards your bum. Really starting to shake. Shaking's a good sign. You need to put even weight in between each rep to allow that standing leg to get a little bit of a break. You can do that, or even just a light bend in that standing leg. 2 more reps. And the last one. Awesome job. Giving both the legs a little bit of a shake. Again, turning so that you're facing towards myself so you can see me perfectly. That chair is off to the side. Again, that outside leg is going to be your moving leg, so we'll have to change the chair based on what leg we're working on. We're going to be working the inner thigh muscles, so you want to imagine that there's a balloon in between your inner thigh muscles, and we're going to pop it. So core nice and strong, engaged, standing nice and tall, not leaning onto that chair. That outside leg is going to cross over that other leg, not touching the floor. Both your toes remain facing forward. Your hand can be on your hip to make sure your hip's not dropping or hiking. Then return back to center. You also don't want to rotate in the hip as you bring it forward, so we're not trying to see how far you can get over. It's a very little movement of squeezing those inner thigh muscles and returning back to center. Again, exhaling as you come out. Inhale as you go back in. You're not bending at the knee with that crossover leg. That leg staying nice and straight. Got 4 more. Get tired, I don't want you leaning into that chair, so still staying nice and tall. Really squeeze thigh muscles, making them work, work, work. Awesome job. Give that leg a little bit of a break. I'm going to switch positions of my chair. We're going to work the other side. So again, it's that outside leg that you're going to be working. Start with your feet shoulder width apart. Toes both facing forward. Hands on your hips so you're in good starting position. Core is nice and engaged. Again, really engaging those inner thigh muscles. So as we cross the foot over, squeezing those muscles. Keeping those toes facing forward and then come back to starting position. Don't let that hip come in. Looking good, everyone. We're halfway through this, so 5 more left to go. Keeping everything nice and engaged. Doing the movement slowly and controlled. We're not rushing through it. A light bend in that standing leg if it's starting to get tired. And last one. Awesome job. You're going to give that standing leg a little bit of a shake. You're going to turn so that you're placing both your fingertips on the back of your sturdy object, chair, countertop, whatever it is you're using. And now we're going to be working your glutes, your butt cheek muscles. So again, working one leg at a time, staying nice and tall. The key for this one is really not letting yourself bend forward as we're raising that foot behind us. So staying nice and tall, core engaged, and a slight movement. You're going to drive back with that heel. Again, not leaning forward, my upper body staying straight, and then slowly coming back to center. So again, this one's not how high we can raise that foot behind us, but really lifting it up, driving with that heel, doing it nice and slow and controlled, keeping that foot in neutral position. You want to gently pull up on those toes ever so lightly so that they're not dragging on the floor behind you. And back. Good job. We've got 5 more left to go. So again, leading with that heel. And as I'm lifting that foot, I don't want to lean too much into that standing leg. My weight is still being evenly distributed. Light bend in that standing leg if you need. Keeping those toes facing the same direction. And last one. Awesome job. Give that standing leg a little bit of a shake. Same exercise, but now on that other foot so that the other leg gets just as much attention as that first leg we started with. So before you're moving, nice and tall, core is engaged, shoulders relaxed, facing forward, and you're going to drive back with that heel, not leaning forward because your core is nice and sturdy, keeping you engaged. Again, if you need to curl up those toes so that you're clearing the floor. A light touch on your chair, so I don't want you putting pressure down on the chair. Really squeezing your butt cheek muscles as you bring your leg behind you. When you're bringing your foot behind and you're lifting, you should really feel it in your bum. So if you place your hand back there, you can really feel your bum kind of engage around your fingertips. No, you're doing it right then. Or you can feel the burn in your bum, in your glute muscles. Not bending that leg as you're bringing it behind you. It's staying nice and straight. As you get tired, I don't want you leaning over that chair. You're keeping a nice upright posture. We'll do 3 more together. And still breathing, because I know you've continued to breathe throughout this all. Awesome job. Giving both the legs a little bit of a shake, we are going to position ourselves so that you're sitting at the edge of your chair. Just going to turn to a 45 so you can see my feet placement. So you want to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Both of your toes are facing the same direction, so we're not toeing out or toeing in. Paying very, very close attention to your knees, making sure they do not go over your toes when you're doing this exercise. You want to really use your glute muscles to help you throughout this whole exercise. Using your arms for a counterbalance, you can have them like this or crossed out in front of you, whichever you prefer. You're going to press through the heels, standing up nice and tall, squeezing your glute muscles as you're standing up tall. Then to lower yourself down, you're going to reach your glutes, your butt cheek back for the chair first, then slowly lower yourself towards the floor. You'll notice my toes like to come up a little bit. That's great, and that's okay if they are doing that. That means all the weight is in your heels, exactly where we want them to be. So again, making sure before you even start, you're at a 90 degrees with your knees. And I'm pressing up nice and tall, pretending there's a carton of eggs on your chair that we don't want to smash. You'd like to eat them for supper still. Really engaging those muscles. Exhaling as you press up. If this is getting too easy, sitting back down on the chair in between each rep, you can just hover over the chair. So I'll show you here. Reaching your glute back, hover over the chair, just lightly touch it, then press up nice and tall. You still want to make sure you're finishing the rep by squeezing your bum at the top and slowly lowering and pressing up, or going back down all the way to your chair, pressing up. We have 3 more. Really feeling it in the leg muscles. Making sure as you lower yourself towards the floor, you're not collapsing in the chest, so you're still staying nice and tall, core still engaged, and you lower yourself towards the chair. Awesome job. Okay, grab yourself a drink. If you want to do a second set of 10 reps of all the exercises with me, stay tuned and we're going to do another round together. If you'd like to just skip to the stretches, you can fast forward to the stretches and make sure you do your cool down with those, and I will be doing that after my next rep. So grab a drink and we'll get started right back to the top again. So for those of you that remember and have good memory, the first one is that lunge. So standing nice and tall, core's engaged. You're going to step forward. I'm going to do it all over again. Okay, standing nice and tall. You're going to step forward with one foot, making sure both of those toes are facing the same direction. So if you had skis on, they would not be hitting each other. You can have your hands on your hips or lightly on a sturdy object beside you. You're going to slowly lower yourself towards the floor so that back heel's up off the floor, then pressing up nice and tall. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this one from the side. Stay nice and tall. Slowly lowering yourself towards the floor. Go as low as you feel is comfortable. And then pressing up nice and tall. Really making sure that front knee does not go like this, that we're actually lowering ourselves down with both knees. And then coming up nice and tall. Again, when you stand up, you're still kind of squeezing your glutes together so you're finishing the full rep. I think we have 5 more. We'll do 5 more. Still breathing, you're not holding your breath. 4, 3, 2, feel the burn, it's a good burn. And 1. Awesome job. We're going to change feet, so I'm just going to stay facing sideways. So you're going to place that other foot, step other foot forward, the other foot back. That back heel's up off the floor, nice and tall, core's engaged, shoulders relaxed. Slowly lowering yourself to the floor, then pressing up. If you need to, you can widen your stance a little bit more. You can be holding onto onto weights if you need to, just light weights to make it a little bit harder. Or you put your hands on your hips. And you're all still smiling, you're all still with me because we're halfway through. We only have 5 more to go. Paying attention to your front knee, not letting it fall in as you're lowering yourself towards the floor. And the last one. Awesome job. That one always gets me, so wipe that sweat off if you need to. You're going to position yourself so that you're sitting in the chair again. Grab a little sip of water if you need. Okay, taking a deep breath. In and exhale. Okay, working that quad muscle, so the top of the leg. If you want to position your hands on the top of the leg so you can really feel engaged, you're going to do that. Make sure you're sitting back all the way in your chair because we really just want to focus on the quad muscles and not letting your back help us do this one. Pick one leg you'd like to start with. Slowly bring your leg up so you're making it nice and straight. Pausing, so you're working, and slowly coming back down. Good job. Exhaling as you're bringing your foot up. And inhaling as you're coming back down. Couple more. Looking good. Really got a sweat on. Awesome. Give that leg a little bit of a break, and we're going to do the same thing but on the other leg. So extending it out in front of you, really feeling that muscle work underneath your hand. Slowly coming back down. Really feel that muscle kind of want to shake as you're slowly lowering yourself towards the floor. Five more left to go. Keeping that foot nice and neutral, so not pointing it towards you or pointing it towards the thing that's in front of you. And last one. Awesome job. So using that technique that we just did for the sit to stand, sliding to the edge of the chair, pressing up so you're pressing through the heels. You're going to bring yourself so you're back behind the chair. And this time I'm just going to do my heel raises on both feet. If you'd like to, you can do one foot and then the other foot, just making sure you do 10 reps, the even amount of reps from this one foot to the other foot. So again, starting nice and close to your chair, light fingertip touch on your chair, core engaged, you're not leaning on your chair or pressing into it. You're going to press up onto your toes, making sure your weight is nice and even between all of your toes. Then slowly lower yourself towards the floor. Again, slowly raising up. You're going to pause when you get to the top, and so you're working those calf muscles, and slowly coming back down. So again, you can also have your ankle weights on here to make this one more difficult, or doing the single leg calf raises like we did the first round. And again, you're going to exhale as you press up. Inhale as you lower yourself towards the floor. Two more left to go. And last one. Awesome job. Give those legs a little bit of a shake. If you did one leg, go and do that other leg now so that you're keeping it even between both of them. The next one that we're doing is working that outer thigh muscles, and that standing leg will also be getting some work. So light touch on the chair, both your feet are facing the same direction. Start with your feet shoulder width apart, hip width apart. And you can have your other hand placed on your hip for just a little bit of a guidance. Then you're going to slowly raise your leg out to the side, leading with your heel, exhaling as you bring it out, then inhaling as you bring it back to starting. Keeping your core nice and strong and engaged as before you're going to lift, so that everything is staying nice and tight and engaged together. The slower you do these movements, the more engaging of the muscles that we're trying to work you'll get, which is great. So don't rush through these. Into that chair. Have a light bend in that standing leg. If it's giving you a little bit of, it's starting to get tired, you can have a light bend in that leg, or place even weight between each rep. We have 3 more to go together. And the last one again is not how high you lift it, but really engaging those outer leg muscles. And back to center. Awesome job. I'm going to just turn the chair the other way. And we'll be doing the same exercise just on that opposite leg. So again, making sure before you start, both your feet are facing forward, core is engaged, hand on your hip. And then from there, you're going to lead with your heel, not leaning into the chair, staying nice and tall, and slowly return back to center. You're going to exhale as you bring your foot out, and inhale as you come back to center. That light bend in that standing leg if you need, or placing both feet down in between every rep. To make it more hard for yourself, you can add an ankle weight or just hover between each exercise, but really engaging that core so we're not leaning into that chair a whole lot to really work your leg muscles. Halfway there, we have 5 more left to go. If you need to wipe your sweat off your face, that's great. I'm glad you're sweating, just like me. Sweat is in you to give, just like blood, so start sweating. And 2 more. You can do it. And the last one. Awesome job. Giving those legs a little bit of a shake. You're going to turn so that both hands are on your sturdy object for support. Again, repeating myself, staying nice and tall, core engaged, shoulders relaxed, light fingertip. But bringing yourself a little bit further away from the chair to allow your leg to bend forward. So picking a leg you'd like to start with, keeping your hips level, you're going to raise your leg up. Pause when you get to the top, so you're working those muscles, slowly coming it back down. So in between each rep, nothing else is moving. My hips aren't dropping or hiking on one side. The only thing moving is my hip and my knee to allow that leg to come up. Pausing at the top, staying nice and tall, not leaning back as you're lifting that leg up. A light bend in that standing leg if you need. Not pointing your toe as you bring it up, just keeping it in a neutral position. And I think we have 3 more. So we'll do 3 more. Again, still not rushing through them. It's not how many reps you do, but proper form. Awesome work. Okay, giving the leg a little bit of a shake. Same thing, but on that opposite leg. So light fingertip touch, core engaged, shoulders relaxed. Driving with your knee, staying nice and tall, really engaging the muscle. Slowly lower yourself to the floor. Not letting your hip hike up. In between each breath. Still exhaling as you're bringing your foot up, your knee up, sorry. Inhaling as you slowly lower yourself towards the floor. Not leaning back in between each rep. Your hips are staying in neutral position. And last one. Awesome work. Alrighty. Staying in that same position with that light fingertip touch on the chair, we're going to be working the back of the muscle, so that hamstring curl again. So getting a little closer to your chair, staying nice and tall, not bending over, not putting a lot of pressure down on your hands. You're going to drive with that heel behind you, making sure those knees are staying flush and you're not letting that knee come forward. Pausing when you get there, slowly lowering towards the floor. Again, keeping those hips neutral and not letting one raise higher than the other or lower. The only thing moving is you're pivoting from that knee, curling that heel toward your bum, not pointing your toes out to the side. You can give that stationary leg a little bit of a break by putting a light bend in the knee, or as you bring your foot down in between each rep, kind of pause before you raise your foot up again. Nice job. 2 more on this side, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And last one. Nice work. Give your legs a light little shake. Then get yourself ready to do the same thing on the other side. Stay nice and tall, light finger touch. Driving with that other heel towards your bum. Pausing when you get to the top. Slowly lowering yourself towards the floor. If you're finding you get about here and then your knee comes forward, don't worry about getting higher. Kind of stop where you're at before your knee falls forward. So you're just really engaging that hamstring muscle and not any other muscles. And again, breathing. So exhale as you curl up. Inhale as you slowly lower yourself towards the floor. Really feel it kind of shaking in the back of the hamstring. That's a good feeling. Those are the muscles we're kind of trying to wake up doing this exercise. And 2 more. And the last one. Awesome job. Already turning so that the chair's off to your side, giving those legs a little bit of a shake. That outside leg is your working leg, so you can place your hand on your hip for just a little bit of guidance to not let that hip drop or go too high or kind of turning it to the side. You're going to keep that outside leg nice and straight, so you're going to cross it over the other foot. Both toes are facing the same direction, staying nice and tall so you're not bent over. Working those inner thigh muscles. Then slowly return back to starting. So this is where you're imagining there's that balloon in between your thighs that you're trying to squeeze and you're trying to pop because there's $1 million that you really want, and come back to center. We didn't pop it last time, so we're going to try to pop it 8 more times until we get that money out of the balloon. So really squeezing those thigh muscles. Back to center. Good work. Still exhaling as you cross over. And inhaling as you come back to center. I did the opposite, but if you were doing what I was telling you to, great, keep it up. as you're not holding your breath, just keep breathing. Don't let that leg you're crossing over bend. You're keeping it straight. Come back to center and keep smiling. I love seeing your smiles. They look fabulous. And we'll do 2 more together. So again, you can have that light bend in that stationary leg. We can put even weight between each breath. Good job. Okay, you can either turn and face the other way or switch your chair to the other direction. And same exercise, so the outside leg is going to cross over. My hand is on my hip. Crossing over, keeping both my toes facing the same direction, squeezing those inner thighs. Slowly come back to center. Everyone's looking great. Don't let your knee bend as you're bringing it forward. Don't let that heel rest on the floor. Halfway there, we have 5 more left to go. And 2 more. Great work. And last one. Make you have a good one. Squeeze and relax. Awesome job. Okay, we're going to turn again so that you're supported with your chair with both your hands on the chair. Staying nice and close to the chair, nice and strong in your upper body. We're not going to lean over for this one. We're really going to engage the glute muscles, so your bum muscles. You're going to pick a leg that you're going to start with, light bend in that standing leg. Drive back with your heel, making sure both of your toes, you can have a look down, that are facing the same direction. You can lift your toe up so that it's not touching the floor. Bring it back behind you. Pause. And slowly come back to center. So this one is really key that you don't lean forward as you raise that foot behind you, that you're keeping that core nice and strong. It's not how high you raise that little foot behind you, but just really engaging and diving deep into those glute muscles. And still breathing. We have 1 more to go, and then we'll switch to the other side. Nice work. Give that leg maybe a little bit of shake or a bend. And same thing on the other foot. So light bend in that standing leg. Nice and tall. Light touch on the chair, keeping that leg that you're moving behind you straight. Driving with that heel. And coming back to center. And pulling it back, squeezing those butt cheek muscles, really making it work. If you touch back with your finger, poke in there, you should feel it nice and engaged. Not leaning into the chair, leaning onto your stationary leg. Staying nice and level. 5 more reps left to go if you're able to, but again, it's not about how many you can do, it's just about proper form. And last one. Woohoo! Alrighty. Last exercise left to do. You're going to grab your chair again for that sit to stand or a squat. So sitting at the very edge of your chair, sitting up nice and tall. Feet are shoulder width apart at 90. You're going to drive through the heel. You're driving with making sure the weight is in the heels of your foot, not your toes. Lean forward, press up. As you're standing tall, you're really engaging your glutes. Reach your bum back, slowly lower yourself towards the chair and lowering yourself so that you're touching the chair or just hovering. Again, pressing up through the heels, staying nice and tall in the upper body, not letting those knees go over their toes as you're going to stand up, or even when you're going to lower yourself down towards the chair. Making sure we're not cracking all those eggs, so coming down ever so gently. It's okay if those front toes want to come up. Oh, I'll try that again. And last one. Or one more if you'd like, just for a bonus. Awesome job. Alrighty, so if you sat down, I'm going to get you to stand back up again. We're just going to start going into our cool down. So grab yourself a drink if you need to. Great work. The hard part is done. Now just to enjoy some stretching. So before we stretch, I just want you to loosen up all the leg muscles, the hip, down through the knee, swinging your leg back and forth, keeping it nice and heavy. And we're going to switch and do the same thing on the other foot. Awesome job. Okay, so there are 6 stretches that we're going to do. We're going to do 2 on each side and holding all of them for 30 seconds. So the first one that we're going to be stretching is the good old hamstring muscle, the back of the leg that we worked on a lot today. So you're going to sit at the edge of your chair, keeping one foot at 90. The other leg, you're going to straighten it out in front of you. You're not going to point your toes towards the ceiling or kind of towards the floor. Just keep it nice and relaxed and neutral. You're going to sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. As you take a deep breath in, you're going to hinge from your hips until you feel a nice, gentle stretch from the back of the knee all the way up to your bum muscle. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Really rewarding these muscles for the work that they put in today. So all of these stretches, you can do them as many times as you'd like to help ease up any soreness, stiffness, tension you might be feeling from the workout that we did today. The stretching will definitely help release any of that extra tension you might have. That's 30 seconds, so slowly coming up from that position, we're going to switch feet and do the other foot. Extending that other foot out in front of you, sitting up nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling. As you exhale, you're going to lean forward until you feel that nice, gentle stretch again, back behind the knee towards the bum. If that's too painful, then just ease up and sit a little bit up more until you get that gentle stretch. Stretching should never be painful. If you need a little bit more, you would just lean into it a little bit more, setting your hips back. But still using your breath, so taking that deep breath in and exhaling to relax any other tight muscles around that muscle. And that was the timer, so one more time on each side. Looking good, everyone. You should feel like you could stretch a little bit further the second time than the first time. Really diving deep, feeling good in the hamstring. And the last time on the other foot. wanted to at home, you could have repeated that whole round one more set so that you would have completed 3 sets of 10 reps. Certainly you could do that. Once you're able to do 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 2, then you would add more weight or more reps. So you would add more sets before you add more reps. Awesome job. Relax from there. We're going to stand up, and we're going to actually come behind your chair, and we're going to stretch the quad muscle. So this is where I mentioned if you're using a strap, go ahead and place your strap around your heel so that you're feeling a nice gentle stretch in the front of the leg. If you are not using the strap, another alternative could be grabbing onto the back of your shoe. If you're able to, you can hang onto your foot or even on your pant leg. You just have to have your foot relaxed and rested on something in order to reap the benefit of the stretch. So I'm going to do it this way. Again, holding it for 30 seconds. Even though this is a stretch, you want to make sure you're not letting your hip drop. Your hips are staying nice and level. Taking that deep breath in still. And exhaling. If you need to get a little bit further, you pull your leg closer towards your bum and kind of tuck your bum underneath you a little bit more, really opening up in the quad muscle. Slowly let that foot down, and the same thing but on the other foot. Deep breath in. Your muscles are loving you for the work that you put in, so now you're just rewarding them with a nice stretch. Awesome job. And one more time on each foot. So again, in your strap, holding onto your shoe. You can also have it resting on another chair behind you. But again, it needs to be supported by something in order to make this a stretch. Otherwise, you're engaging muscles and you're not really stretching your muscles. Good work. Slowly lowering that foot down, and the last time on the other foot. Staying nice and tall, hips level. Should feel a little bit further into the stretch than the first time. You can definitely hold this more than 30 seconds if you'd like at home, but 30 seconds is the minimum you need to in order to really lengthen those muscles. Awesome job. You can let that go. Okay, the next one that we're going to stretch is the back of the calf muscle. So back down here, the one that we worked on when we did the calf raises. Going to start nice and close to your chair. Step backwards with one foot, making sure that back heel stays on the floor. Both toes are facing the same direction, so the back toe isn't pointing out. Then you're going to bend forward in that front knee until you're feeling a nice, gentle stretch down the back of the leg. If you are looking down and you see that your front knee is over your toe, you need to move that foot forward more so that the knee is actually behind your toes. Staying nice and tall, so little pressure on the hands. You're not kind of leaning into the chair. All the weight should be back and your back leg going down towards the heel. Stepping that foot forward and switching, so we're stretching the other foot. Again, making sure both toes are facing the same direction. Have a look down. Bending in that front knee until you're feeling that gentle stretch down the back of the leg. deep breath in and exhaling. Staying nice and tall in your upper body. Nice work. And the last time, but on the other foot. Keeping that back heel on the floor, so don't want you to let your heel come up off the floor. You want to make sure it's pressing down. If you're like this and you feel like you can't because it's so tight, then move your foot forward until you're able to keep it on the floor, and enough that you're getting that stretch in the back of the calf muscle. So using that breath to help relax all the other muscles around the calf muscle, and that is the timer. And then position yourself so that you're sitting at the edge of the chair. We're going to stretch the sides of your bum cheeks. So if you're able to, sitting up nice and tall, you're going to grab one foot, place your ankle basically on the knee of your other foot, sitting up nice and tall. Then you kind of, if you're getting enough of a stretch there, you can leave it like that. If you need a little bit more, you can gently, and I mean gently, put a little bit of weight of your forearm. If you're unable to do that, kind of let this other leg down a little bit and position it down on your leg instead of above the knee. It's now below the knee. Still staying nice and tall until you're feeling that gentle stretch in the side of the bum cheek. So I'm going to go back to this one. Find the one that's most comfortable for you, and that's the one we're going to hold for 30 seconds. So staying nice and tall in that upper body, not slouching over. If you need to get a little bit further, you can lean into it. Taking that deep breath in and exhaling. Good job. Slowly come out of that one. And same thing on the other leg. You might notice one leg is tighter than the other one, so you might have to bring your leg down lower for one and not the other. But still making sure we're stretching both of them for 30 seconds on each side, nice and even. Good job. You should really feel by this point now that your heart rate has kind of decreased, your blood pressure is decreasing. You're starting to cool down from that workout that you've put in. And last time on the other side, so 2 times on each side. Nice and slow and controlled breath. Diving deep into that muscle to really lengthen it and stretch it out. Slowly come down. And the last time on the other side. Sitting nice and tall, not slouching, and pulling those shoulder blades together, keeping them relaxed. Relaxing that foot, applying that gentle pressure with your forearm if you need to. Not pushing down on it though, just a gentle pressure. You don't want to kind of lean to one side, you want to stay even weight between both. Relaxing that foot up. You're going to press up from your chair. And I'm just going to move my chair off to the side. And 2 more stretches left. So the one we're going to stretch the inner thigh, the other one we're going to stretch the outer thigh. So you're actually going to widen your stance so that you're wider than hip width apart. And then from here, you're just going to lean into the one side. If you need to, widen your feet even more in order to feel that gentle stretch. You can do that. Staying nice and tall in that upper body. You can relax your hands wherever they feel comfortable. Taking that deep breath in and exhaling. Making sure that knee is not going over that toe again. Setting your butt back if you need to, if you're not seeing those toes because your knee is over those toes. Come back to center. I'm going to do the same thing but on the other side, so leaning into that other side. Setting your butt cheek back. If that front knee is going over the toe, feeling that pull in the inner thigh muscle. Taking that deep breath in and exhaling. And one more time on each side. Feel like you can go a little bit further into the stretch than the first time. Keeping your toes both facing the same direction so we're not toeing out. They're both still facing forward. Setting your hips back, light bend in that knee. Coming back to center, and the last time on the other side. Smiling and breathing. You're almost done this session. Coming back to center, bring your legs together, and the last stretch will be for your IT bands down the side of your leg. You're going to cross one foot over, so I'm crossing my left foot over. Then what you can do if you're getting enough of a stretch this way, you can just do that, or if you need a little extra with your opposite arm to your right arm, you're going to reach over until you're feeling that nice kind of stretch along the side of your leg. If you need to hang on to a chair for support, you can do that as well. Taking the deep breath in and exhaling. We're going to switch and do the other foot, so crossing that other foot over. If you're getting enough, you can keep like that, or bringing it over on the other side. Again, you can put the chair on the other side if you need to for a little bit of support. Deep breath in and exhale. Awesome job. Come back to normal. And then one more time, last time on each side. So crossing that left foot over, bringing that right arm over top, reaching over until you're feeling that gentle stretch down the side. If you want to close your eyes, get a little bit further into the stretch, we're taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Awesome job. And the last time on the other side. It's crossing that right foot over, leaning over with our left. Deep breath in, exhaling, staying nice and tall, not bending forward. Take one more deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and relax. Alrighty, you can just give everything a little bit of a shake. And you've actually completed the lower body strength and stretching session today with the Minto-Mapleton Family Health Team. So give yourself a pat on the back for such great work that you did today. If you're certainly looking for more classes that Minto-Mapleton has to offer, give us a call at our clinic or visit us on the website, and you can find all the information there. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And again, if you need to do those stretches later on in the day because you're feeling sore in those legs, you can certainly stretch as many times as you'd like to just kind of help ease some of that tension, soreness, tightness that you might be feeling. Great work, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Take care.